Hey guys, so today I'm gonna react to a NASA video about the XRISM X-rays, the galaxy Sulfur. So some more news about NASA, and I was interested in that. This was from 2 weeks ago, so more back in July 2025.
Sulfur.
Let me just make sure I put in 1080p. All right, let's go.
Sulfur. It's the fifth most common element on Earth. It also helped make our early world habitable and
Mhm.
allows life to function now. But scientists have a lot of
Yeah, so sulfur was one of the elements, one of the materials needed on Earth to help life be formed. There is evidence that life could be formed from non-organic materials. Sorry, non-living or not life, real like living organic materials. So basically, non-living organic materials. There's been abiogenesis is a discussion of it, where it's a hypothesis with potential evidence that life originated from non-living organic materials like water, air, sulfur, things like that. Those things are important because you need oxygen. You need, as far as we know, liquid water to have life. Sulfur is also needed. Temperature dependent matters. If it's too cold, too hot, they also impact it. But we can't say for a fact, right? Abiogenesis is a lot harder to find evidence of than like evolution, which is more the study of diversity of life. So it talks about how life adapt over a period of time. So evolve through the the concept of or the theory of natural selection, where certain genes are selected that are the best for the survival of this for the adaptation more specifically of the species. Because survival is not always accurate. It's more of how adaptable the species is. Sometimes we think survival the fittest, which is more of a business terminology, not so much a biological one. But just want to give you guys a little tips of why sulfur and this type of materials are important for life.
questions about where it hides in interstellar space. Using the XRISM satellite, astronomers have now X-rayed our galaxy's
I guess, oh, cribsum. Okay, I thought it was XRISM. Okay, cribsum's a satellite. Okay.
sulfur in unprecedented detail.
That's really interesting because sulfur is, interesting finding and can maybe indicate that an object like a planet or moon could have life potential, but that's not enough. Liquid water is a huge focus, and oxygen. So H2O. So H2O for liquid water, and H2O is just, or liquid water specifically, because there are different forms of liquids, right? It's not just water. So we can liquid methane, right? Like in Titan, the moon, you can have liquid methane where inside liquid water is liquid methane. Could life exist, like bacterial life in liquid methane? Maybe. Maybe it's just everything works the opposite way as on planet Earth. We don't know. So I can't say for a fact either. There could be life that we never really properly explore direct evidence of life. But maybe life exists on liquid methane like on Titan. As far as we know, liquid water is more of a direct evidence, or at least indirect evidence more accurately. Is something that we can rely on. That's why there's evidence that maybe underneath the surface of Mars, where you see the ice caps, the icy area, maybe underneath of that could have liquid water, which might have life. The biggest one that being lots of talk of is a lot of talking is Europa, because Europa has direct evidence of liquid water underneath the surface. So it could have a huge ocean, bigger, much bigger and deeper than everything combined on planet Earth. If you combine all the oceans on Earth, it will still not be as big and deep as the ones in Europa. So that's a whole other thing I will talk about in another video. But that's why we focus so much, because the only evidence of life, the only reference we have is planet Earth. So we are limited on that knowledge.
Out in the vastness of space is the interstellar medium, the gas and dust between the stars. Scientists see lots of sulfur as gas in molecular clouds, cold, dense patches of the medium where stars and planets are born. But this type of sulfur tends to disappear quickly. Where does it go?
That's a good question.
To find out, scientists picked a region of gas and dust that wasn't too thin or too thick. Then they picked a bright X ray source behind the patch so that the light would pass through it on its way to XRISM. This is like getting an X-ray here on Earth, but instead of the light being absorbed by tissue and bone, it's absorbed by different elements, like sulfur. XRISM showed scientists that sulfur in the interstellar medium can be found as both a gas and as a solid, and possibly mixed with iron. This aligns with studies of meteorites and may help explain how sulfur moves through the cosmos.
Very interesting. That's very interesting information, and learning more about sulfur, how it can really be explained to meteorites, and it's like everything connects. When the more scientists study the universe, outer space, the more we kind of understand how things will form on planet Earth and all the planets, moons, potential stars, etc.
It's also the first direct measurement of sulfur in both solid and gas phases. Thanks to XRISM, we're a step closer to understanding how life on our planet came to be.
I figured that they're gonna connect that back to how life formed on planet Earth. So that was interesting. It is pretty to also see these details, and I'm happy with the charism. Now I know how to pronounce it. Can find all these details, and part of the reason why scientists do this, the more we understand about the universe, the better we can understand how we can help ourselves on planet Earth. A lot of the exploration of the universe through NASA uh, and all the organizations that really try hard to understand the universe has helped improve technology dramatically, including things like GPS and understanding how gravity works. And when you comprehend those things, it may seem like it's not important. Who cares about physics, chemistry, biology, and all that? But it matters. It helps you build technologies that can improve our daily lives. And people need to understand that it's important. So when you cut the budget on NASA, like the federal government is trying to do, and you find a bunch of people who have inside knowledge, decades of experience on how to operate organizations like NASA, you lose that knowledge, you lose that expertise, and you destroy the whole operation. And it takes decades to fix that. And you have to do a catch up game. And at this rate, we're going to be behind many other countries like China, Japan, etc., who are going to be ahead of us with achieving more um, our space goals, things that we should be able to do. We should be able to have a moon base. We still don't have a moon base. We should have a moon base since, in my opinion, since the 1890s, the 1980s, 1990s, and we still don't have a moon base. We're still, it's not impossible. It is expensive. I'm not saying these things are cheap, but it would be a smart idea if we can maybe, in a reliable way, survive on the moon as a moon base. I'm talking about bases on the moon where scientists can do the research engineers and all that. So you can go from a space shuttle from the moon. It would be so much easier to take flight, to go from the moon to Mars, for instance. It's a lot easier doing that on the moon than on planet Earth. The moon doesn't have ozone layer. There's nothing really slowing down. The gravity is also not as powerful, so it makes it easier to kind of do that. So it's a great idea. It will be extremely difficult. It would take decades to probably really, properly build even just one single moon base where you can actually have a rocket launch and all that. I know it would be difficult, but if we're able to achieve that, we have a chance of maybe now going from the moon to Mars. I think skipping that idea of building a base on the moon and going straight to a planet like Mars, that the fastest we can get there is around 5.5 months. I think that would be a mistake. I think we should practice surviving in outer space on the moon first. I think right now it takes only 3 days to reach uh to reach the moon from Earth to the moon and moon back to Earth. So it's not that bad. You can provide resources like food, water, all of that pretty quickly. In that sense, if you're all the way to Mars, nobody's gonna spend 5.5 months or so going all the way to Mars, and that's only if Mars is at the specific rotation at the right time for us to be there the fastest pace and give you all the resources. It's going to be extremely difficult to do that. So whoever goes to Mars the first time, it's probably going to be something where you're going to stay on Mars. You're not going to come back most likely, and you can't expect whatever government is doing that, whatever country, to provide the resources you need to survive. So you have to figure out a way to survive there. It'll be extremely hard, not impossible, but very hard. So I think starting with the moon is a great idea. Get used to it. Start building moon bases. Don't have to be hundreds. but maybe a few countries can work together and have a couple, maybe 3 moon bases, and go from there. It should be collaboration. It should be something that multiple countries work together as a team to achieve. It shouldn't just be I'm going to be the first country, screw everyone. I think that selfish mentality is why we're so behind in certain things. When we could just be working together as one, as a species, instead against each other. I know it's I've been babbling about it for a while, but it's seeing so much potential for NASA and the European Space Agency, among others, and because of one individual might be the new president, they can rule everything. All the endeavors that these astronauts and all the scientists at NASA and want to achieve. It sucks. And this is great news. I'm very happy. It's great scientific news. I want to talk about it with you guys, but it just saddens me. It makes me sad how the federal government, the U.S. federal government, just don't give a shit about this. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you like this video and if you think this is exciting, this is good news. And if you like it, just make sure to subscribe. You can follow us on TikTok and support us on Patreon. Have a good day, guys.